While that's drying, we can put some detail on the end of the barn with the half rigger, ultramarine and burnt umber. So it's a really dark colour. And start at the top of the woodwork. So it's dark underneath that roof line. Just put that in there. Then you start to paint in the weatherboards with what's known as a nervous line, which comes quite naturally if you're doing this in front of a camera. So you just hold your hand and just make it shudder as you're painting the line. It's known as a nervous line. Then into the snow area here, like that. And before you finish, just take out, as if some of these boards have actually come away. Like that. Maybe one down here. And again, just makes it look a little bit more rustic. Repeat the same sort of thing on the porch and the door with some vertical lines and a hinge and a bracket into there. Then allow that to dry. With the large detail brush and some cobalt blue, but a very, very pale mix of blue, start to wash some colour onto the snowy roof. So I'm going to keep this light and white on the front part of the porch, and just drag that colour down. It really must be pale, like that. Then again with some cobalt blue, put some colour into the snowy fields in the background. Bring that down. You can just leave it light here, and with the same colour start to bring that across towards the barn and over the fence here. A little bit stronger. Follow the tracks around like that. And still with a fairly pale wash, just run that up the bank and across over the masking fluid on the fence. The reason for that is what you don't want is when you remove the masking fluid to have white snow on a white background. In the foreground, we'll make that a little bit darker with some cobalt blue and a touch of shadow. So put that darker wash. Now you have to be quite brave with this, and you just wash that across the bottom part of the painting. Seems quite dramatic, but by putting this darker colour in here, makes that look lighter and this stands out more. Without this shadow, the whole lot just drifts off the bottom of the picture. So again, through those masked off grasses, cobalt blue, shadow, right into the corner of the painting. And with that same colour, just put the slightly darker colour onto the roof of the porch. And leaving this white on this part of the porch. Actually, this part of the roof is called the hip. And this smaller triangular shaped roof is called a half hip. Some shade on the side of the snow, just underneath the eaves there. Then allow that to dry. With a mixture of ultramarine and burnt umber, using the half rigger, I'm going to paint in the tree trunk and the branches on these trees at the back of the barn. So just paint them in. You don't have to be too careful with this because there's quite a bit of masking fluid on the trees, so some of your paintwork will just simply disappear. So just carefully do that so you don't go onto the roof. And put some detail in there. Run this dark colour along the side of that masking fluid. This is where the snow's sitting on the tree trunk. Hint of a fence in there. And for the fence in the foreground, I'm going to use the medium detail brush, same colour, ultramarine burnt umber. So it's nice and dark. And paint in the fence posts and the rails like that. And over this side,
Smudge your head, please.
and paint over the masking fluid down to the bottom of the post. Really quite dark. And the cross rails, they just sit underneath the snow. Bring that forward, out of the painting, underneath here. Then with the fang off, I'm going to use some burnt sienna and burnt umber. So it's a nice, rich, dark brown colour. And flick some grasses coming out of the snow in the foreground. So this just adds a little bit of colour to the foreground. It's a nice light colour, maybe some ferns. So you touch the brush on the paper and flick it sideways. Then allow that to dry. With clean, dry hands, remove the masking fluid by rubbing with your fingers. So there's the snow on the top of the trees. Like that. And for the fence, it just reappears. Snow on that bush in the paddock, some grasses in the foreground, and the fence there. And we've also got a little bit of masking fluid on the track as well. So remove that, get rid of all the bits. With the medium detail brush and some cobalt blue. Just put a little bit of shade into that snow on the trees, like that. Just touch that underneath the shady area into there, and leaving the sunlit snow on the top of the tree line. just a touch of cobalt blue on the snow on the fence, just underneath, right on that edge, just in the shady bit of the snow. Some shadow with cobalt blue. So it's a little bit darker. And just the hint of some tracks coming out of the bottom of the painting. And to finish off the barn, some shadow and some burnt sienna, and just run that dark colour just underneath the roof line. I think that's just about it. And here we have the finished painting. Plenty of contrast between the light of the snow and the dark of the trees. This brings out the roof, makes it a nice bright painting. Snow scenes don't have to be freezing cold and bleak and wintry. Bit of sunshine in the painting. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a go too.
Now available to buy. Try these techniques at home whenever you wish. The DVD of today's workshop and the book that accompanies this series are now available to order from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.